is great to be in your home. This morning is Thursday, October 17th, and we are live every Thursday morning. We have a great hour ahead of us. Later on, we'll be talking with Associated Ministries, and they are here to talk about the state of homelessness here in the city of Tacoma and what they are doing to be a part of the solution, and you can join them. Goodwill is here to talk about their ways to shop in their boutiques and stores. And of course, nothing says Halloween like getting your costume at the Goodwill. So George will be here to talk about that. Tacoma Opera is here to talk about the Elixir of Love. This is an opera that you do not want to miss. It's full of twists and turns. And yes, there actually is an elixir involved in it. And then with me right now are two fabulous women. I love them. I love what they do. I love the organization. And I was telling them that when I read about the change that we are going to talk about, I screamed to my wife in the other room and said, this can't be happening. So I'm so glad they're on the couch. Please join me in welcoming Tanya Durand. You are the executive director of Greentrike.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And Miss Maddy Mixter, your name is so fabulous. You are the communications manager of Greentrike. So let's just jump into this because we've already let it out of the bag. So usually if we had to rewind this tape to your previous appearance on the comfy couch, I would have said Maddy and Tanya from Children's Museum of Tacoma, but it's Greentrike. Tanya, what is Greentrike?
What are we doing here?
What are we doing?
Yeah, well, as you know, Amanda, we've struggled over the years, we meaning Children's Museum of Tacoma, because we feel like we've had the great good fortune that our mission has really expanded into different areas of the community. You know, we kind of, thanks to our friends, unearthed what our superpowers are, and we figured out how do you deploy those in really amazing ways for children and families. And so it just became a little tiring to continually say, oh, but we're so much more than a museum.
Yeah.
So we embarked on a journey of not really rebranding, but reframing what it is that we're doing. And so really thinking about us as a parent organization felt more natural. And then the things that we do help us articulate that mission or bring that mission to life in the community.
I love that. So Maddy, why this change in naming? Why could it have not been the Children's Museum of Tacoma Corporation? Or something big?
Absolutely. So Greentrike felt a little bit more us. It allows us to really embrace the growth that we've had over the past, 7 years since we moved to downtown Pacific Avenue. We have experienced just a lot of growth, like Tanya mentioned, with these different programs. And it really allows us to be a children's museum, to be an outreach program at over 20 locations in Pierce County, to allow us to be a child care facility. And Greentrike gets to manage all of those different legs and arms of our programs.
I love that. But Greentrike is still the Children's Museum of Tacoma. I mean, it's not some offshore corporation that's managing you via, Morse code on the computer. You're still us, only better.
Absolutely.
And larger. What's the inspiration for the name, Tanya? I mean, you could have changed to anything, like Red Wagon.
Sure. And, well, we did. We worked with Rotator Creative, who are amazing. They brought us Live Like the Mountains Out.
Yes.
So we love working with those guys. And we really talk with them about if we're going to make a shift like this, because as we were talking pre-show, the museum's brand already had a ton of equity in the community.
Yes.
And like people know our logo.
Yeah, the necklace.
Right.
Yes.
And so it needed to be something that was a expansion of that, but it had to be funky, it had to be quirky, it had to be childlike, it couldn't be Center for Children's Development. I mean, that just falls really flat for us.
Right. Well, it has to be as big as Children's Museum of Tacoma, if not bigger.
So we just started playing around with concepts, and we thought, what if we really made it about something that was really emblematic of childhood, which is a tricycle. Yes. And, it's often one of the first freedoms for a child to sort of hop on this little trike and discover that their body can propel it, and they get to choose where it goes, and because there's a little step on the back, they get to bring a friend along for the ride.
I love
and it's green because you'd expect it to be red, and that's just kind of how we roll.
Oh, I love the thought behind this. I wish I could have been just, on your shoulder at this table as you all talked about the name and spun off in terms of ideas and how to really encapsulate. What a beautiful image. Bring a friend, hop on the back, let's go. Let's talk about, and this is for both of you, the growth that the Children's Museum of Tacoma, also known as Greentrike, has gone through. Walk us through some of that. And Maddy, why don't you go first?
Yeah, so a big change happened when the Children's Museum moved to 1501 Pacific
Yes.
Avenue. That was kind of a big spark and a big shift. We were talking about the size of before. It was much smaller. And then, we opened a childcare facility in that same building. And, then we moved around to allow for a permanent location for our preschool Powered by Play, and also had a preschool Powered by Play location in the Hoyt building in the Proctor neighborhood. And, it just really, the growth has just been substantial. And we've also found ourselves as thought leaders and advocates for children.
Yes.
Which I think is a new growth avenue that we've found ourselves, it just makes sense. We really do want to be advocates for children in our community.
Absolutely. What would you add to that, Tanya?
I think Maddie's right to take it to that higher elevation, which is, wherever children are cared for or educated, it's going to be Greentrike's job to make sure that their right to play is really embraced and stewarded, that they should have a voice in their care and their education, and that the environments should be beautiful and engaging and inspiring, and that we should really encourage everybody in the community to think about the decisions that we're making as business owners, as teachers, as civic, leaders. How do those decisions that we make affect children, and are we thinking conscientiously about that at the time that we're making those decisions, and are we engaging the voices of children in those decisions?
Thank you. So many times children, and especially I think in the outlying areas, are outcast, where if you don't live right here in Tacoma, and if you're further out, you don't get that I'm at the table thinking about you in those rural areas. And that's something that Greentrike has done beautifully. Maddy, what does ish mean?
Yeah, so ish is kind of a driving factor in a lot of what we do. Ish means whimsical and wacky and funky, and also open to interpretation.
Okay.
So a lot of our logos, the Children's Museum logo that is a butterfly-ish. It's not
Around
a butterfly.
Tanya's neck right now. Yeah.
But some people see it as a flower-ish. So it's kind of open to interpretation, and our museum is that way too. We have environments that are open for children to play on a ship, on a boat, on a, so they can kind of decide what they want to do with it. And ish is kind of how we approach this rebranding, making sure that, it's open to interpretation, and our logo stays.
I love
Well, and if I might
that.
add on to that, one of the cornerstones is access for us. And so by not prescribing what things are for families, you're, I think, inherently more welcoming and letting them approach the spaces or the instructors or the activity in the way that they want to approach it.
I've always thought, and I still think this, that the Children's Museum of Tacoma has always met families where they are and said, let us co-parent with you. You lead the way and we'll come along and fill in what you need. And it becomes this beautiful embrace of that ish. Whatever the child needs is the ish, it seems like. So how does this change any programming, Tanya, or existing programs with all of this new name?
Sure. I don't think it changes the content or the delivery of the programs. We're internally doing a little bit of reorganization and just saying, how can Greentrike really be even more supportive of, I explained what Greentrike's directive is in the community, the museum, the school, the child care center. That's how we show up in those spaces.
Yes.
So really supporting them. I do think that the advocacy arm that Maddy mentioned, that's going to get stronger, and really inserting ourselves, or that we hope we'll be invited to tables where people are making decisions about the way that we are caring for and educating the children.
I love that. So What's the next best thing for Greentrike in these last few minutes? Maddy, go ahead and go first on that.
Absolutely. We are really excited about what next fall brings, which is the Children's Museum of JBLM.
Yes!
So we are excited that we're going to be opening our doors on August 1st, 2020, and it'll be the first children's museum on a military installation. So we're really excited to be, championing that play on base and really meeting people where they are, like you mentioned, and those families that live on base and providing a playful experience for them.
Okay, so the military brat in me is tearing up because you have no idea what a gift this is. From somebody who moved 8 times in 9 years. This is such a beautiful gift for those children because they usually don't have it.
Right.
This is a life changer. What else do you want to add to that?
Well, I've been with the museum almost 23 years, and this is the most meaningful piece of work I've ever had the honor to participate in. So
Yeah, this is incredible.
I would just say thank you to the museum's board of directors. I mean, that group continually amazes me with the way that they have pushed, Greentrike Now's mission into the community, and it is a honor to steward that. And,
Absolutely.
obviously, thanks to all the wonderful, amazing patrons that make it possible for us too.
Absolutely. So August 1st is the ribbon cutting date
Yes.
on this. I cannot wait to have you back on this couch as we get closer to that date, because I want you to share with us, if you can, glimpses of what it's going to look like. Because, I have 2 visions. I have the closet that I walked my 4-year-old daughter into all those years ago. And now I have, of course, the beautiful building on Pacific Avenue. But I can't imagine how much better it could be. But knowing you two and the team and the board, it's going to be magnificent. I just can't wait to
We
see
really,
it.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We're really excited.
Thank you so much, first off, for
Thank you.
all of the amazing work that you put into this. I mean, we get so protective of our spaces where we create and where we cuddle and where we fill in the ish. And this was a big risk to change that name. But wow, your team has thought of everything. So thank you so much for co-parenting the parents who don't like change like me. And I can't wait to have you back on the comfy couch. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Amanda.
My pleasure. We are going to do just a little bit of musical chairs. And when we come back, we'll have Tacoma Opera in the house. You don't want to miss that. We'll be right back. Oh, yeah.